What's up, people? How's everyone doing? Make sure the mic's all good. All right, so I don't know where to start with this. What's everyone been up to? I've been busy. Well, not busy, but like, yeah, I've been working. I've been trying to, like, put things together. I'm trying to figure it all out. And, obviously Claude is here. Claude is like, yeah, amazing. I've actually signed up to this. And it's allowed me to build out, like, what I think could be beneficial for the ecosystem. Now, I know crypto is dead. No one's building anything. Well, the thing is like, we're at the stage now where things are being built, but it's just in the background. Like the knowers know. The people, like, is San Francisco, LA, wherever they are, New York, they're all building out products that are going to be the next big thing. They're all making deals in the background. And eventually, by the time the token drops or the new product drops, it's already, the money's already, like, the money's already been scattered about, and they're just waiting for people to buy the idea. So all you can do now is just sort of like try and build something of your own and try and be creative in it. So that brings me on to my topic. I've been building out Whalescope. I don't know if anyone else has watched any of my streams, or, like, I'll probably be talking to myself for the next hour, hour and a half. But yeah, I came up with this idea. Basically, it's like, oh, there you go. Like an integrated streaming service. Like something to integrate into Zora. So, like, as much as people are saying content coins are dead, I kind of blame the people that were actually on the streaming service. There was nothing to differentiate yourself from the actual. Let me hear the audio on that. Yeah, let me turn on my mic. Yeah, so let me do that so you guys can actually hear me. Right, I just need to test the audio, guys. Sorry, because I went live, but, like, let's see. Yeah, there's nothing to, like, differentiate these streaming platforms or these content coins or whatever it is, like Zora, for instance. There's nothing to have you stand out from like, the Twitches, the YouTubes. Everyone's, like, already there in it. So what is it that Zora or, like, even PubFund have that gives it an advantage over these traditional streaming platforms? Now, originally it was the token, didn't it? And a lot of people were saying, oh, the token basically gives you an advantage because it gives full ownership to the person who's creating the content. Okay, but we all know now that content isn't the only thing that you need to be successful with streaming. You need good clippers. You need people who are gonna, like, clip your stuff, make it look good. You need, like, viral content as well, stuff that, oh my god, I can't believe he said that. It's more shock value content now, if anything, when it comes to streaming. If you want to be popular, let me just make sure that that's okay. Yeah, if you wanted to be popular, you got to do outrageous things. It's come to a point now where there's a guy, this Claviker, whatever his name is. He's basically doing as much controversial stuff as possible without breaking the law, and he's going viral for it. And it's come to that point. So what's going to happen next, Like, the OnlyFans thing has happened. RIP to the creator. He died today. 43 years old, man. That's quite scary. Yeah. There's, like, I think the shock value content and the content that is actually on show at the moment is saturated just garbage, isn't it? Like, it's just, like, brain rot crap. Like, it's not fun to watch. For me, anyway. Maybe I'm just a boomer. I'm just old. Like, but it's just rubbish. And then, like, you've got the new batch of streamers coming up, and you can see the baton being passed down from, like, the Kai Cenat to the Speeds, or maybe just Kai Cenat, to these younger kids who are just doing the exact same thing, copying the formula, and eventually it's just going to get boring, innit? And those people are going to just die out. You're going to see, like, the content creators of today, the younger lot that are coming up, there's going to be a faster rotation out the door for these guys, like, and the fame that comes with it is going to poison them, basically. So you need to find a different approach, or we need to find a different approach to content creation in regards to Web3. A lot of people basically showed up, or the few people that did show up, they saw, like, an open field, and they thought, oh well, I could just like throw whatever content I want on here, you know. So then you got the pre-recorded crap. You got the people that did try. There were a few. There was maybe 4 or 5 people that tried. And then there were hundreds, or you know, in the beginning it was like a couple thousand people who just showed up because they thought they were going to get a bag of some sort. But no one really tried to, you know, innovate upon what was given to you. So like, for instance, when I looked at Zora, like over the last month, I'd say, I was like, it's programmable, right? So like you can actually use it to build on top of. You can actually put your own ideas and implement things into it. So I started in it. At first, in the beginning, it was kind of like, you know, with Claude, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, you can actually bring your ideas to life. But so what do you want to do? Originally, it was like you know, a sniper bot, and then it was all this other stuff that I've talked about already, and it just wasn't working. And then I managed to build out like this Whalescope copy mirror trading platform, which is like, of all things, it's like the most basic thing you could do with it, you know, when it comes to Claude. Because I've got no coding experience, I will happily admit that. Claude is just like a blessing, but then it gives you access to things that you've envisioned in your mind. And once you've actually brought those visions to life and you can see them in reality, then you can move on from that. Because in life, I find, once you have an idea, you get stuck on it. Like, and if you can never complete that idea, that's literally where you are. You can't move forward. So what Claude has done for me is it's allowed me to put whatever thoughts I've had into reality, like taking them out of my brain, put them there. You can see it on the screen now, and now I can be like, okay, so where do I go from here? So it completely opens up your mind. It's insane. Okay, so I thought, okay, I built this out. This is like my copy trading mirror platform or whatever it is. Maybe to some people, like, yeah, anyone could do that. That's fine. You know, if you go outside and you look around at people sitting in the park on their laptops, they're still not using Claude. You know, like, I've actually gone out into the real world, guys, and I can tell you for now, there's very few people out there on Claude, like, bagging it out, who know what a Claude MD file is, like, how to structure things, all of that stuff that, you know, perhaps you think, or you take for granted, and you think, oh yeah, everyone knows that. Like, we're in such a small bubble when it comes to this thing, with this AI stuff. We're actually at the forefront of it. We're actually teaching the algo and everything like that. Okay, so I've built out this mirror trading platform. And I've iterated upon it, and then I've realized data is king in it. So like a lot of people in trading, for instance, they go to, like, you know, TradingView, and they look at the Ichimoku, and they look at, you know, the RSI and all the rest of it, but none of that matters if you don't have the data to back it up. The data could be your own personal data where you've traded for years and you've kept track, God bless you, of all your trades, and you can see where you messed up and whatnot, you know, and eventually it sort of just pops up and you get, I would say, lucky. Like, you know, trading is a game of luck, you know, and the only way that Lady Luck is going to smile upon you is if you're actually there, innit? But yeah, so I digress. So back to Whalescope. So what I've learned is that I can actually collect data from the top 27 wallets that I'm tracking, and basically build an algo off of that. It's going to take a while. I think it's going to take between a month and 3 months, like 30 to 90 days, for me to collate enough data for me to build out my own sort of quant bot sort of thing that's going to do trades on my behalf. So in the meantime, that's all built out and it's doing it. So I just have to sit back and watch. It's got a sleep function, all the rest of the stuff. This is run locally on my computer, so no one can actually access this, I believe. The funds are not in there per se to trade or anything like that. It's just like, just to see, you know, just to understand and see what exactly is going on. But then what else could you use it for? And then that's when I came up with, like, you know, I was doing the content coin thing. I was fully invested in the content coin thing. You know, I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, I wasn't interested or anything like that. Sorry, let me just do that. And do that. And I thought, okay, so but like, because this is on chain and it's being fed through the, you know, the Hyperliquid API. You've got the Hyperliquid API feeding me this information. And don't get it twisted. Like, I know a lot of people like, yeah, you just copy the API, but once you actually put it in and you start doing it, there's a lot of like nuances and little things that are you should like you actually need to pay attention to and fix. Like, a lot of people are assuming with Claude that you can just prompt something like this and it will just run automatically and everything's fine. But there's a load of little things that if you don't notice and you don't call Claude upon, like, you know, or call Claude on and just be like, listen, this is not working, I need that fixed, and this is why, the way I want it, it will just be a disaster for you. So like, constantly I'm iterating, like, you know, and then when my credits run out, I'm using my product, the thing that I've built, which is this mirror swap or whale scope or whatever, or whale scope. And I'm using it and I'm seeing it, like, are there any issues with this? Why doesn't that do that? And I'm making notes of it mentally. I don't write stuff down. Mentally making notes of all the things that I want to improve once I get my credits back. Because I'm on, like, the pro plan. It runs out really quickly, basically. So, but I've got a lot done in that time, which means, like, so even in saying that, like, there's a lot of people who've got like the $200 plan and they can just work relentlessly, like they're exhausted, like their brains aren't functioning properly. Like, but if you get a break, like a good break, you've built like it allows you to be much more focused and constructive on when you do have the time, because that time is limited. So instead of you having unlimited time to build out the things that you want, and then even in that becomes an assumption like, oh, I've got time to do whatever I want. The person who has a limited amount of time is able to focus down on what they need to do in that period of time. And then once that period of time runs out, they can actually look at what they've built and then, use the product that they've built and just keep iterating upon it. So like, yeah, there's constant iterations of this. Like, this is I don't want to say it's a week's worth of work per se. I would say like this is like 2-3 days of me, like, mucking around with Claude and getting it together. And then the rest of the time, because I was locked off from like, I think Tuesday till Saturday, because I just like went hard for 4 days. I was locked off for the rest of that time until Saturday. I was just using it and thinking about all the problems and all the issues that this thing has and what other ideas I could actually throw at it to get it to work even better. The brain starts to tick over. So you like, as a human, like, we're not built for this speed. So you do need time to like step back and just be like, okay, what am I actually doing here? Even Claude, like, like some people are like, oh yeah, the memory file, it will just work relentlessly. And then you've got like the people who are looping stuff and just like it's constantly running. I don't know how much you're paying for credits, but okay. But the human brain is still more powerful than this thing. Yeah, I might not have the ability to like, write all the code that's gone into this, because it's a shitload of code. Like, I ain't gonna lie. But at the same time, it still works out pretty well for me. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I just need that space to actually look at what I've done. Whereas I don't think people are actually like taking a step back, or maybe there are teams of different people like working on it. I mean, if I had a team, I'm pretty sure I'd get a lot more done. If I had a team, if I had a bunch of people and we all look at that, high conviction trade on hype. There you go. So then, yeah, it triggers here, and then yeah, it's very cool, like what I'm trying to do, but I'll get to it. But like, yeah, so those are the signals that I'd probably trade if I wasn't streaming. Not that I trade, okay? The account's not funded. This is just for informational purposes only. Oh my god, everyone is shorted hype. What the fuck is going on? So what is the high price dumping? Oh wow, arrow popped off. Okay, that was weird. Arrow's up to 36 cents. Okay, anyway, sorry, I got distracted there. It's very cool, I thought, yeah. And I'm excited for it, but there are like certain limitations as well, Let's get over there. Oh. Okay. Sorry, I'm just watching, guys. Just give me like, there's no rush, is there? We're not in any rush. Yeah, there are like certain limitations to what you can achieve. And if like, for instance, like if you're watching this on YouTube or like Twitch and you're thinking, oh, I could never do that. Well, the only advice I'll give to you is probably sign up to Claude. Even the $20 one, yeah? And just have a conversation with it. There's plenty of documentation out there. There's a certification that I need to complete and I want to complete. But yeah, it's definitely going to benefit you. Like, if there's anything in your mind, I would say if there's any idea that you've had for ages, right? But you've never had the technical ability to actually do it, I would advise you 100% to get on Claude and actually do it. Because what's going to happen there is like, once that idea is out there in the wild, it doesn't matter if it works or not. It doesn't matter if it's shit. It doesn't matter, like, the fact that it's outside of your brain gives you space to think. Okay, so like, and then from there you can just sort of like expand your horizons. So like, it's just like, yeah, it's just like the ultimate thing. So basically, yeah, I built out this whole mirror well scope thing, and like, okay, what can you do with it? Yeah, you could basically, if I click mirror short hype or whatever, it would short hype through Hyperliquid. And yeah, it's basically let me go. Sorry, I'm getting muddled up because so much is going on. So if I go to settings now, so like yeah, then I've got like my settings of like how I would want my bot, for instance, or me to trade. So like at the moment it's manual. Until the algo is actually sorted, I'm not going to be doing any sort of like, you know, bot trading or anything like that. There's no point, because you're competing against like much bigger players, but that have much more data. So like when it comes to, you know, bot trading or algo bot trading or whatever, you can't do anything until you have the data. So data collection is like the next 2 3 months of me. That's what I have to do, is just sit on it and yeah, iterate upon this thing. So yeah, so then it's got all the settings of the trade. So like, yeah, you know, 10% of my account, 30% stop loss, minimum size 5,000. So it's got everything I need all set up. And then I also found that a lot of the trades were like, you know, bot trades, spamming trades. So what I've done is I've sort of eliminated the ones, the assets that have larger open interest. So like if you know, like Bitcoin, for instance, people trade in and out of Bitcoin, like bots trade in and out of Bitcoin constantly. That's what I've learned. Same with ETH. They've got over $1 billion in like open interest on Hyperliquid. So you just be like, you know what, I don't want to have that on my feed. So just like figure out a way to tailor that off, and via settings I can do that. So that was all implemented as well. But that's coming from personal experience and the fact that I was actually looking at what was being produced. You know, I took the time out to actually look at it. So yeah, anyway, so that's that. Okay, it's running in the background, everything's fine. And then I had the idea, it's just like, you can see in the top left hand corner here, it says Sol Short. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to basically source more data from somewhere. So I had the idea of like implementing like an OBS layout within a streaming service. So like Zora, for instance, it has the SDK, it has everything you need. So this function is basically set up for Zora, where people can vote on whether or not the trade should go through. So I've got like a separate account via something called GigaBrain, who has like, you know, I'll show you. It's here. So GigaBrain, it's not quite working, but basically GigaBrain is like a bot that will do the transaction for me. So if you vote yes or no, let me just go here. I want to make sure live pass, blah blah blah. Super agents, let's go here. So yeah, so this is GigaBrain. Basically it's like an agent that works on chain, and you can instruct this agent to do transactions on chain, as I said before. But it's sort of like the guy who goes in between. So for instance, you're seeing at the top right hand corner here someone saying short hype, okay, or like there's a high conviction trade or whale scope that says you should short hype. Yeah, now I can manually do this and click it and be like, okay, it's gonna automatically do it for me, and it just fills and everything like that. And it's got like what's it called, like auto stops as well. So like my stops, everything is set. So with it mirroring the trade, I've gone back a bit, but like with it mirroring the trade, I've also got like an auto function. So once the person or the people who have made the trade close out the trade, my trade will also close out as well. It's mirroring exactly, basically, unless it hits you know, my 30% stop and the person's still in it. I don't know why they would be, but yeah, that's basically it. But yeah, GigaBrains, basically that's what the bot does, but I'm not in charge of whether or not the trade is taken. So the person who's in charge of it is actually the people who are watching the stream. So the way it works is that when you're sitting there watching the stream, you'll see this sort of like ETH short. Should I take it? It says yes or no. There's a timer. You can probably hear the music and everything like that. It's pretty cool. I want to work on the design. If the majority of voters vote yes, then that sends a signal automatically to the GigaBrain bot to do the trade, and then the OBS layout will basically fill and show the trade as is open. Now I let go of it, the viewer lets go of it, the mirror trade is now in action. So whoever the person is that's in charge of the trade that's been mirrored is responsible for closing the trade. You know, the profits are made, the losses that are made, and it's just like, yeah, whether or not you want to take it. And that's how far I've got. The problem is now, and you'll see, like I posted it on Zora as well, the problem I have now, let's see if I can get it here. The problem I have now is that Zora, I'm trying to implement a vote function for the chat on the streaming service. The problem is Zora doesn't expose a public API or to poll or to subscribe to live stream chat messages, which is like a really simple fix for me. It's kind of like I've already token gated the voting function. So like if you wanted to say you were on my stream on Zora and you clicked yes, if you don't hold 1,000 of my token, the vote won't count. It's that simple. It's 1,000 of my token is like 10 cents, maybe a cent. I don't know, but it's like it's nothing. But what that does is it creates utility for the content coin. And I just don't understand why these steps have been missed in regards to, you know, a streaming service. You want viewer interaction. Why isn't it gated off? Or like, even if it's not gated off, like, you know, why isn't there the ability for the streamer to gate off certain sections of their stream? You know, like this, I feel like would drag or keep people invested in the streams. They just didn't do it, like, or they just didn't have the idea. I had the idea from ages ago, you know, like betting on live streams. But you know, no one's implemented it. Maybe this is why. But yeah, it's all built. The only thing that's missing now is this API. And I don't know, like, you know, I've sent this post, what, half an hour ago. I don't know if the people at Zora or Base or anything like that are actually gonna, you know, take notice and be like, you know what, why don't we just do that? Because nothing else has worked. And once you give utility to the content coin, creators can get really creative. Yeah. But yeah, I could like, you know, do the vote function on Twitch. I'm not sure about terms of service and everything like that. But then that basically renders the coin redundant. So where's the, you know, where is the upside potential for me? Like, imagine I start a stream now. This is the way I envision it. Imagine I start a stream, and people know about this service, and it's like it's starting to gain traction. They could buy my coin during the stream just to access the voting service, and then they could vote yes or no while I'm doing my bits, you know, being entertaining as I am. And then once the stream ends, they just dump the token, and that's fine. Like, you know, what that does is that generates fees for the content creator. It doesn't like, you know, it doesn't mean that the content creator is great or like they're backing their content for future reference and the guy could just piss off. It's just for that actual stream, people are trading the coin, you know, and the streamer wins because he gets fees. He or she or they get fees. So like, it makes total sense to me anyway, as sort of a product that you could build on top of a Web3 streaming platform that has a content coin. But I just don't understand why nobody has tried to do this, or maybe like it's just falling on deaf ears. I mean, if anything, I'm gonna keep iterating on it, as I've said before, and I'll keep going, and then I'll have to reach out to other streaming platforms to see if they're actually interested in trying to implement this thing. I feel like Retake might have the potential to do that. Pump Fun, I'm not so sure, because they're like bigger for some strange reason. I know that like the Live Suite are trying to do something, but they've got very quiet. I don't know what's going on with Live Suite. Shout out to Number Dude. I hope he's okay. So just everything's gone quiet with that. And in regards to the content creators and streamers that were actually on Zora from before, it seems like they've given up as well. And this is all at the whim of somebody or the behest of somebody that said it's not working. You know, it's not the guy who was actually putting in the graft or putting in the effort to actually try and implement these things, you know? It's just like, I just don't understand. I just want it to, I just feel like, there's so much potential here. It's not like it's open source or anything like that. Well, it is. There's like certain aspects that are open source, but the most vital part is definitely the chat. Because you can implement so many other ideas into the chat. Like, how many streams have you watched? Like, you know, like you watch the bigger streamers like Nick Merckx or something like that. As soon as he gets like a $50 bits donation, the screen goes wild. It pops. You know, he's shouting out, "Thank you. Everything's great." Like, where is that? Where is it? Like, you know what I mean? And you can put it down to, like, you know, the streamer, the content, the type of content that the streamer is producing, or you can put it down to the fact that the functionality is not there for that. You know, all the things like, you know, if I press something on here now, does it work? Maybe not. Wait, like, you know, I've got my Stream Deck here set up. And all the things that I would do on the Stream Deck, I've had to do myself, you know, like there's no Streamer Labs, there's nothing to implement in. So like, what that means that there's a huge opportunity for someone out there to build those things. And with Claude Code, you can actually do that. You know, you can actually have a separate Web3 company that builds these sort of like things for content creators on Web3. But Yeah, maybe it's just because the viewers aren't there. It didn't work for 6 months. Everyone's just sort of given up on it. But this idea that I've had, or that I'm trying to implement now, I've built like completely for free. Now, like going backwards, right? What I've learned since like this whole Claude thing exploded on me, anyway, the no homo, like, or pause, or whatever people say. Um, yeah, the whole thing with that is that, okay, you've got all these fantastical ideas, but you have to realize what limitations or what hindrances there are before you start building. So, like, for instance, the Wellscope thing, it was very easy for me to set up, and I wasn't relying on things like oracles, you know, like everything that, you know, Hyperliquid had in regards to the complications, i.e., you know, prices and oracles and all these other things, block times, all of that stuff. You don't want to have to worry about that unless you've got a team. If you're just a solo dev and you've got an idea, your idea has to be in reality, and it has to be basically free to set up. So like I think I've spent like max membership, like for Claude $20, or whatever it is I pay. The Gigabrain, I put $10 into that, and another $10 into Claude credits, which is probably run out, which is why, yeah, I'm having issues with Gigabrain at the moment. But I can update that. So I spent like maybe $40-50 max, you know, building out a mirror trading platform, and with it implemented into like Gigabrain, which is implemented into the OBS that hopefully eventually will be implemented into Zora. All I need is the API. And I'm begging you, please, Zora devs, like, I know you don't give a shit, like, the money's been made, you've done that, you've dropped the coin, but there is a massive opportunity for people to actually build that cool shit. We just need you to step up, man. We just need you to be like, oh, do you know what, like, a post like this, yeah, where I'm showing you that I'm interested in building on your platform, right? I'm showing you, okay, and I've shown, like, you know, this is the only thing that's the issue. Please just fix it. Just like be like, okay, we can do that. Here's the API key for the chat. And as soon as I get that, I guarantee you, like, you know, I'll be on here like on a daily, like, you know, with this thing popping off, and hopefully eventually people will buy and trade the token, and yeah, it'll be like, in my mind, I feel like it's a no-brainer, but who knows? It's all computer. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, Wellscope, vote. I don't know. What else is cool about this thing? Not really much, I guess. I guess that's it. Anything else going on in the news? The DX RG or whatever finished. The Poopcoin got released. No one cared, so it dumped. It's just, yeah. Market popped off today for some strange reason. It's not really popped off. It's just, yeah. It's Monday. I don't know, man. But yeah, that's the idea. That's the general idea. My timeline is dominated by the war in Israel. Here we go. I'm cooked. Maybe it's time to buy a second Claude Max subscription. The week hasn't even started. Current sessions. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, resets Thursday. Oh my god. Yeah, I think I'm almost done for the week as well. That's why I'm sort of like, okay, let me try and kill some time streaming. Probably play some video games, muck around with Wellscope, see what else I can do in it. Someone's shorting XPL. Okay. Let me hear that. Anyway, if you're watching, yeah, that's pretty much the stream done. I'm just gonna, like, do me now. See, like, now you can hear the music pop in. You can just type yes in the chat. You know? Yes in the chat, no in the chat. Yes, it goes up. Signals automatically triggers the trade. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. You know? Like, has anyone built anything like that? I don't think they have. Like, real on-chain transactions via live streams. It's a no-brainer, and it's ready. I'm telling you, it's ready. But like, I mean, maybe someone's gonna see this and like stream the idea. I'm not like open source or anything like that. You know, it's not open source. So, I mean, maybe I should just stick it on GitHub and like someone else could run with it. I mean, I get the base banter in it, like, you know, but this is like implementing. I feel like even in regards to, like what I was saying before, in regards to like the limitations of your ideas, things have been built out enough where you can take things from other places. So right now I'm talking like Zora on Base, Hyperliquid on Arbitrum, Gigabrain is on Base as well, but you can also link it to Solana. So like you could put all these things together and you could sort of build out your own sort of thing, you know. And I think that's what I think is important. That's what I think is important. Like for people like me who don't have the technical ability to build that stuff that in the background all the nerds were like, you know, salivating over. No disrespect to the nerds. Yeah, those type of things, like they're there. Now it's the job of the creator or the creatives, the people with a bit of imagination, to actually just like put it together, sew it together into a unique product that people actually want to use. At the moment, like in crypto, it's just gambling, isn't it? The timeline is dead when it comes to this stuff. You know, like I said, my timeline is dominated with like, you know, the Israeli stuff, the Palestinian stuff, however you want to look at it, the Claude code. But yeah, meme coins completely dead. That is not an option anymore. Content coins, they could have had their moment, but like I said, people weren't creative enough with it, and you didn't have the ability to, you know, see it through. But I still feel like there's an underlying, you know, there's something underlying here that people are missing. And like, as much as people are walking away from the idea of content coins, I still feel like there's still something that could potentially just like lift it off, you know? And it's kind of a good thing that everyone's given up, to be honest, because it allows people like me to express my ideas in peace. And who knows, something might hit. If it doesn't, then, you know, at least it's out there, isn't it? At least it's out there. Yeah. That's it, man. Was it saying how many Claude Code winners do you run at once? One. Do you know what I mean? If you've watched Graciously rated out of 10. You know, one. I've got one Claude Code thing. Spent the week auditing TE-based crypto projects on mainnets. It's worse than expected. Remote asset station is mostly just theatre. Flashbots users are being sold. Security properties, they're simply out there. Okay. Crypto is going to find out the hard way that it's horribly behind when it comes to risk modeling. I'm a Ford credit quad. The field is behind what the state of the art 20 years ago. Okay. Yeah, it's just nothing exciting. Mega ETH is dead. So quick crypto. I invested 100 in Mega ETH. Okay. Yeah, I'm to get my money back. I'm done with this space. What's he got on that screen? So can I see his screen? Should zoom in there and be like, what's he got typed there? It's ready to begin targeting really fresh energy expansion point in Tehran. Okay. It's trading agents and multi-agent framework. See, when I see things like this as well, right? People are like, oh yeah, someone just released this new GitHub, blah blah blah. Da, 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 da. Do you know what you do, right? You copy the kit, you go to the GitHub, right? This is for clicks, obviously, but I'm going to click on it anyway. Link in the comments. Okay, here it is, GitHub, the Turing. So here's the repo link, yeah? You click on it. Trading agents, right? And then you just like take this link and then dump it into your Claude, and then ask it the question: does this benefit in any way, shape, or form the project that I'm building? If you find anything that's relevant, just you know, make a note of it for future reference, isn't it? So you know, we could go back to it, because a lot of the things, like, yeah, maybe there are like small snippets of stuff that you want to take out, and you could just like add it to the Claude MD list. You know, like I've got like a list of like phases, first of all, of like things I want to build, and then I've got like another bit where it's just like, these are the tools that perhaps might be useful. And you could just drag it out. Just be like, oh yeah, remember that thing from the Turek research trading agents, whatever. Can we use that, you know? Or even then, Claude might even be like, oh, we can use that thing that you showed me earlier. So like, you know, it's all about building a library of tools, a suite of tools that perhaps you might need. Now, some people might say to you, oh, then your Claude MD is going to get too bulky. But that's why you have to be very careful with the things that you add in. So like, when you say, is it relevant to the thing that I'm building, that sort of minimizes the amount of things that it's going to extract away from these GitHubs. But like, you know, yeah, okay, I'll keep that on as a tab. And then like, you know, later today, when I can finally finish up, when is it? What time can I use? I've used 90% of my session limit. Oh my God. Claude reaches tool use limit for this turn. Okay, so yeah, so basically like my Claude has, you know what I'm going to do? I need to check my Settings. Go to settings. See how much time, how much have I got left? What is this? Usage. Yeah, I've only used like 50% of my stuff, but for my session, current session, I've used 94%. Resets in. Okay, so I've still got 50% to use. So like, yeah, I can get some real work done. But yeah, I'm just gonna probably what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna everything that I've built out so far today. I'm gonna put it into. I'm gonna condense it down into and then add it to the Claude MD file of jobs that I've completed, what we've learned, you know, what we can take away from these sessions, all of that, and I'm gonna put it in the Claude MD. So the next time when I start a new chat, I'll just be like, you know, read these files and then we'll just go again. Because a lot of people are talking about memory and stuff like that, but I just don't think anyone has actually, not anyone, but like, you know, people in general, I don't think you need to like, you know, constantly update and be like, oh yeah, it's got instant memory, unless you're actually running a bot. You know, like those people that are running 24/7 bots, I don't believe that they're ready yet. When they are, it'll be easier and a lot cheaper to do. So at the moment it's like really expensive, so you're paying for the Claude or Anthropic, you're paying a premium to trade Anthropic to do a better job with these bots. So you're paying for the privilege of trading up bots, which is crazy to me. It's like you're paying $200 a month for this. You guys are mad. You guys are mad. So you pay $200 a month for the janky version of something that's going to cost me $50 a month or $20 a month in the near future. Because the only reason why it will cost that much is because you trade it up. Yeah, I guess like, you know, this is why, you know, people complain, like, or, you know, this is why I don't want to say rich people, because maybe you're not rich, maybe you just got like a really good job and you can afford the 200, or like, you know, you're married and you can afford that. I mean, I can afford it technically, but I'm just not willing to do it. Although I'm very tempted to cancel my ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is fucking horrendous. It's so horrendous. It's like you're wasting your time trying to do anything on chat. I needed some audio files for when this thing kicks off, you know, like the well scope thing in the top left. Those audio files came from chat, but it took me about 2 hours to get chat to actually make the files. It was constantly like trying to sell me some shit. Where is it? I'll go here. There it is, chat. Like, it's ridiculous. And then even then, like, you know, eventually it gave me the files, and then the files were broken. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Look, it's like, oh yeah, look at this. Oh, do that. Pro mix. And I'm like, where are the files? You know, look how much stuff I had to read. You know, before like download the files. Like, you know, I had to read all of this from one request. And then there was one point where it gave me a zip file. It was like the file was completely silent, so there was like no sound coming out of it. And then it's like, oh yeah, good catch. That's exactly the kind of issue that kills the whole system if unnoticed. It's like, of course I noticed it. Like, you gave me audio files with no fucking audio. It's like in ChatGPT is like, ugh. I'm just like, ugh. You know? And then eventually, you know, the only reason why I clocked that, like, obviously I opened the files and there was like no sound. So I was like, should I go to chat and ask chat what is wrong with these files? Obviously not. So I took the file and I put it into Claude and I was like, what's wrong with the file? And Claude told me, Claude gave me this message. The file is completely silent, you know, max amplitude, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, take that and give it to chat. And then chat was like, good catch. It's like, what? Like, what are we doing here? What are we actually doing here? Apart from wasting my fucking time, chat. Like, you know, and then, like, you know, it started doing it. Everything's fine. Look, yeah, download. It was working. It was working. And then it was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this, this, and this. No editing, blah, blah. I'm going to do this, this, and this. Look how much it's talking. And I'm like, where's the final boss version? Because it says, do you want, just say final boss version. Because I didn't read all of that. I'm like, all right, give me the final boss version, innit? And then it's like, okay, yeah, you actually want the final boss. And then it done it. And then, yeah, it was like, yeah, it done it all. It gave me all of this. I said, where are the files for the final boss version? It said, download the final boss pack here. Wait a minute, did I miss that bit? This is actually what? Okay, so maybe that was it. Or maybe I missed that because I didn't actually see it, because basically I said final boss version, this is what you actually want, and I didn't even see this, and then it done all of this, and I'm like, well, where is it? And they're like, oh, it's here. And then it just, yeah, then it started telling me how to right click save. If it still doesn't download, tell me. And I was just like, yeah, it's just a mess. It's a janky, horrible mess, man. I tell you, janky, horrible mess, mate. But yeah, it looks like he's kicking off on the crypto trade. You know, I'm kind of pissed. I missed this stuff. Look at that. How many times I got stopped out of this fucking Pepe trade? You trade on the weekend, you donut. Never do it. Never do it. Lesson learned. Astar, like even Astar had a mainnet, didn't it? They dropped a mainnet. They're like, oh yeah, you can stake, you know. And it's like, oh yeah, how long does it take to unstake? 2-3 weeks. Anytime you see something say, oh yeah, you can stake with us, but it's going to take 2 years for you to unstake or stake for a year. Like they can do anything they want from there. It's like brilliant. Look at this sucker. He just staked 10 grand worth of Astar. And you know what we're going to do? The time you get that out in a year or two, it's going to be worth like $500. And you'll be like, oh, well, Loose was part of the community. They're going to promise you airdrops from new ecosystem products. There's going to be nothing, man. There's going to be nothing that's innovative or new. And you're just like, yeah, you're just a sucker for doing it. I'm sorry. But if you stake on Astar, like, yeah, you got to be like the dumbest guy ever. I swear. Because, I don't know. Because even then, like, you know, if you say you take 10 grand and you put it into Astar, that's 6,700 tokens. Now you stake it. There's some guy out there who works for Astar or is like, you know, an uncle or a cousin, something. And he's got like 2 billion tokens or like, you know, something stupid, 200 million tokens, right? So then he stakes his because that's nothing to him. He's actually been given that for free somehow. Yeah, because tokens are made out in there. And then like they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do airdrops for ecosystem, you know, new ecosystem products. There's gonna be tokens for them, and stakers are gonna get a priority. So then, you know, the allocation comes, you get your little small portion, right? And then that guy gets a massive portion, and that's basically him exiting his position because now he can dump this another made up token, and yeah, it's just like you just get shit on constantly. So staking is the worst thing you could do in this ecosystem. I can't tell you how pissed I am that I've still got money locked in virtuals. And even up to now, they're not saying, oh, you know, you can unstake now, guys. Like, you know, it's been over a year. Like, yeah, sorry about price action. No, they're actually still saying, like, if you want to unstake, it starts from now. So if I unstake now, it's going to take 2 years before I get my fucking money back. 2 years. Like, are we kidding here? Like, I'm such a donut for that. ENA, I made the same mistake. I staked, like, you know, near the highs. I lost like 60% of my money. I think I put like 20 grand in there. I came out with 4. Something stupid. It was just like, what are you doing, man? Like, never again will I stake a token. I'm sorry, it's just not worth it. Tia, Cosmos, like, the only one I think is perhaps maybe worth potentially staking is ETH. Okay, like, you know, at least ETH, like, there's a potential for you to actually make some money now that they've come away from the Web 2 like ecosystem platform type deal, potentially. And who knows what's gonna happen with the base token? Maybe the base token is gonna have some cool staking mechanisms. But if they say, oh, you know what, if you stake for 2 years, blah blah, nah, mate, sorry, I'll change that to USDC so fast. My God. It's just like this. It's too much, man. It's too much, guys. Honestly, all my frames are completely out the window. What is going on? What is going on? Am I talking to myself? I guess it doesn't really matter. Let me check the other streams. Oh, it's just blurry. My picture's looking quite saturated, man. Is that because of the sun? Like, what the fuck? Oh, that's fine. It's just Zora that's having an issue. Yeah, it's just Zora. But yeah, okay. I think what's that, 45 minutes? Oh, no, so bloody hell. We talked for an hour and a half. What's that about? Okay, then. Alright, guys. I guess I'm done here. That's my rant. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to do some more stuff on this WorldScope thing. Hopefully, like, you know, someone from the Zora team, by some miracle, sees my message or something. And we can get this resolved so I can actually, you know, implement this voting mechanism. Then you guys can actually trade this stuff, you know, like, not actually trade it. The thing is as well, right, I've got to come up with a plan to incentivize people to actually click yes or no. I mean, it's free technically, like, yeah, you buy the token like for that session or for, you know, for that stream, you can dump it after, whatever you want to do. But you know, it's just a bit of fun at the moment just to say yes or no on the trade. If it goes through, you get to track it with me. If it makes a profit, great. It all stays in the Gigabrain treasury anyway. And then eventually, you know, if it builds up to a certain amount, who knows what will happen. I'm not saying I'm gonna give money away. I'm not gonna say, you know, oh yeah, this is like, you know, I'm guaranteeing everyone who votes 10%, but I will have, like, you know, a list of people who hold my token for a certain period of time. That could be an incentive to hold the token. It'd be like, listen, if you hold it for 30 days, then I'm willing to share 10% of the profits. It'll probably only be like $5. So you get like 50 cents if there's 10 of you. Who knows? But there's got to be some way to sort of incentivize people to actually hold on to your content coin, or use your content coin in a different way. Maybe a 21-day staking regime. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do that. You'll get some profit shares from from the Gigabrain bot trading token that we all vote for. But it's the power of the crowd, isn't it? It's definitely the power of the crowd. And I guess, like, you know, if you haven't got any viewers, then it doesn't really matter. So if I had, like, you know, 50 viewers and they all express views on where the market's going to go via these trades, then yeah, 100% it could work. There's a volume spike in ETH short. So yeah, I also track volume. Just a beautiful interface. Like, you know, I love it. You can also, like, you know, if you go here and then you click like load all stats for these wallets that are currently trading, it will give you a breakdown of the success rate. So you can see the BTC Maxi is potentially dead. So that person's moved on. I have to refresh or remove that wallet. Click remove. It gives you a breakdown of the win rates of all these different accounts. Okay. And then you can just automatically click like auto mirror, and it will just mirror whatever that person's doing, which is pretty amazing, to me anyway. But obviously, like, the data is not very reliable because for some strange reason, like when I first set up the algo score and everything, it didn't store the data. It's just like, you know, it was a major fail on my part. I think I went like the first week of the algo score without collecting any data. But now it's all set up. You know, you take it on the chin and you move on, innit? Let me just make sure. I don't know what Zora is doing, but it's frozen now. It seems like it's died. That is so weird. They killed my stream. Let's see. Alright guys, just 1 second. I'm just gonna see if this... Why would they do that? Still stream. I'm still streaming on Twitch and YouTube, which is fine. Maybe it's too. Maybe I'm taking too much data. Who knows? Start streaming. I don't know, man. Oh, it's actually working, is it? Okay. I'm not getting very many hits or what's going on. Okay, yeah, so as I was saying before, so yeah, I've got like a list of cards of all the different addresses that I'm tracing, and you can see like the win rates so far, average hold time, yeah, stuff like that. Pretty cool, pretty unique. And then, like, you know, if you see that like a certain address like this one, for instance, is not performing very well, you can just simply click remove, and yeah, and then, you know, you just refresh the wallets, get some new wallets in. But yeah, definitely exciting for me anyway. Yeah, look at that, Zora. So much potential, just wasted, man. It's actually, yeah, there's the servers down. We'll do some updates. Okay, it doesn't matter. All right, guys. I appreciate anyone who tuned in. I'm probably gonna watch this back and watch myself waffle. And yeah, I guess I'll see you soon. All right, take it easy.